Hey y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and today I have a double memory planning process video for you. We're going to do 2 weeks in the month of November. We're going to take a break from seasonal, and we're going to use a Hip Kit Club kit from I don't know what month, but a Hip Kit Club kit, and we're going to use some bright, fun colors to document these 2 weeks in November. There were a few pictures, and we're going to get this down so that we can get caught up by the end of the year. I will link things that I end up using down below. Otherwise, I will put you guys on fast forward. Let's go. For this first week, I am going to get started like I often do, and that would be by cutting apart all of the pictures. I print them 4 to a sheet, and those sheets are 4 by 6. I do print them on a photo printer. At home, I have an Epson PictureMate 400, works great for me. And then I'm going to mat the pictures on some of this bright paper from the Hip Kit Club. I'm actually doing a little bit of color coding with the matting. So I have several pictures of one of my sons with gymnastics and Cub Scouts. His pictures are all in the same color. My daughter's pictures are all going to be in the same color. And then the other pictures on the page, which are of myself, my new Glowforge, and my second son, those are all in a third color. So they're kind of a little bit grouped as far as the coloring, like that. The subject determined the color of the matting, if that makes sense. It also just helps disperse the colors around the page. I do use the matting of pictures as a way to cover up any mistakes I have, cutting or sizing or anything like that. I get questions all the time about how I size my pictures in the right way to make sure that they will fit in the boxes. Rarely do I line up these pictures directly in the boxes. I find that sometimes the boxes, the sizing is just so particular. And so I oftentimes am putting things kind of just off center in the boxes to cover up extra lines on my spread. I change it up. And so I don't usually, when I print 4 to a 4 by 6, meaning each picture is around 2 by 3, that should work, but it doesn't always print perfectly. And so having the matting where it goes slightly bigger than the box just helps cover up some of those imperfections, and it keeps me from just being too fussy about how this is going to look on the page. All right, so I like this cool triangle spread. I don't have a ton to say about this particular week. Was a lot going on. We had soccer tournaments, we had a gymnastics meet, the Glowforge. There's actually a lot coming on, but I didn't want to fill up the side. Like, I didn't have as many photos as I might normally have, I guess you would say. And so I'm going to use some big chunks of scrapbook paper to help me actually on both of these spreads fill in some of the space. This is something that's allowing me to go a little bit faster as I document, since I'm doing 2 spreads in 1 week. And it's taken up a little space, so I don't totally have to worry about filling all of that in. So that's a cool pattern. I was just going to do it over there on the left, but I liked it so much, I was like, I'm going to turn it a different direction, and we're going to put it on the right side as well, since I have a big chunk of space. For these photos, a lot of them were very much unrelated, and so I knew as far as journaling, I was going to have more chunked out journaling, I guess you would say. Think of it as different paragraphs, because there was so much going on, so many different types of things. So I'm going to use the paper and use the stickers. I'm actually going to use stickers this time to help divide up the different spaces where I can do my journaling. Now, I don't always use thickers. These are like cardstock stickers that came with this kit. I don't always use those in my memory planning because they do add a lot of bulk, but I really liked these particular ones. I love the phrases. You guys know I'm just a sucker for phrases and words and things like that. And I'm going to use those instead of ephemera pieces. That way the pictures pop even more when you add ephemera pieces, which I love to do. It competes a little bit with the pictures, but in this case, the pictures pop more and the scrapbook paper I'm using pops a little bit more, but I can use these words to kind of add to the story. For instance, the hooray with the my son holding medals, that's perfect. I think it just goes together. Then I will add my journaling lines. My pen was running out. I am definitely running short on black pens, which also seems shocking to me, but it's true. I've been running through black pens like it was my job recently. So I use my T-square ruler to add in journaling lines. You can just look for these on Amazon. I will probably have it linked in the description box below as well. This helps me add in the lines just so I can double check that my writing will all be relatively even. I could use a stencil. That's another great option to use as well. But I really like my ruler. Kind of got in the pattern. And then what I'm going to do as far as journaling is I'm actually going to use some different color pens because that's going to add more interest, and it really highlights the fact that each section is talking about something different. So changing up your pen color when you're adding in your journaling can help to highlight the different things that you're talking about, especially on a memory planning spread, because most likely you have a lot of different things going on in a week. So it's not necessarily going to be one fluid long paragraph. It's going to be chunked out, and using the colors A adds a visual impact, and then B just makes it easier for your brain to kind of dissect that each color is talking about something different during the week. All right, my next spread is actually for the week before Thanksgiving. And I do have a few pictures from this week. Probably the highlight of the week was putting up Christmas decor on that Saturday, November 19th. But you guys, this was a hard week, and there's not a lot of pictures because it was a super hard week. It was very stressful. We went out of town the following week for Thanksgiving, and when I go out of town, it means that I have to do twice as much work the week before to get all of my work done. And this was the beginning of all of the kids' winter activities and all of the school activities and starting to prep for Christmas things. And it was just a very stressful week. It was hard to kind of figure out what to do during the week. And so documenting it, I didn't have a lot of positive things to say. So we're actually going to document how the week actually was, and then we're going to highlight the joyful moments, because I think it's important to take note of those hard weeks. And I also think it's important to document them in your memory keeping, because others are going to look back and they don't only want to see the highlights, they want to see the real you. And so having the real you documented in these times, I think is important. So I will be doing that, but because I'm going to focus my journaling on that, I don't need a ton of room for journaling. And so I'm going to use this hexy paper to fill in. I kind of like the bluish green color. I think that's going to be nice to kind of give the impression of it was a little bit more of a blue week. It can still be bright. I can still highlight the joyful moments, and that's what I'm going to do. But a lot of the spread will be covered in this blue kind of tone. And that gives off the impression of that it was just a little bit more of a difficult week for sure. And again, I just love using scrapbook paper in my planner. I like using it in any planner, but in my memory planner for sure, because it really makes a huge impact on the page. And when you're able to take a patterned paper like this and trim it out and get some interesting pattern onto your page instead of just straight lines, that also I think always turns out pretty well. So I'm trimming it down to fit right in those boxes. We'll do it on the top and the bottom. And originally I was going to scatter my pictures throughout the page, but I am going to change my mind. And look, I'm actually, you guys, I used a ruler and measured and drew the line and cut on the line to make sure it was exactly the right width, which is very much unlike me. Usually I eyeball that thing, but look at, that's perfect. I got a little pen smear on my page too, so that part was a little unfortunate. All right, I'm being very generous because it's a little bit of a heavier scrapbook paper, so I want to make sure I'm using all the adhesive there so it will stay in place. Getting this side down, and then I just have to trim out this bottom section right here. Again, grabbing my T-ruler, going on the line, and then I'll just trace that line in there and trim off that paper. And really what I've done now is focus the attention in towards that middle section so that I can add my photos over there. I'm trying to get all those little tidbits down, getting adhesive on the edges, and ta-da! huge impact on the page. Now I'm just going to tuck. So I'm actually not matting these pictures. I'm going to tuck them underneath the hexies so that they're kind of peeking out. I think it's a cool effect of like, hey, there's still joy to be found. And that's what I talk about in the journaling, that it was a hard week. It was stressful. By the time we left for vacation, for Thanksgiving vacation, everyone in the family was feeling really frazzled. And so, but no matter how much stress is going on in a week, there's always going to be some joyful moments. And so I wanted to capture those on the page. Now, once I get all of those on the page, I do have to like continue to pull up the scrapbook paper a little bit on the edges just to get those tucked down because I hadn't realized I was going to tuck my photos in until I saw it on the page. And then I thought, oh, that would be so cool to have them kind of coming out. It's a different sort of matting, a different highlighting of the photos. So it was a little difficult to pull up the scrapbook paper that already had adhesive, but I got it all up. And then I'm just going to take my attention over to the left-hand sidebar. That is where I will end up putting my journaling. And these are thickers that came with the kit. Love me some alpha stickers, you guys. That might be my favorite supply ever. Like if I had to choose one supply, it would either be markers, maybe, I don't know. Washi tape's up there, but I mean, alpha stickers, I love me some alpha stickers. So we're gonna do the title, Real Talk, get that down, and then go ahead and journal down the sidebar. And after I do that, I end up deciding I need to add some more florals. So I will journal, but let's look at florals. I wanted to use something that actually didn't have words, which is crazy. But I want to add little pops of color to kind of represent, hey, there were fun moments, even though I'm about to write about the hard moments. So I went to my stash. I have all my florals, like old florals, separated in my ephemera just so I can grab them. And I'm going to just mix and match. These are all from different sets, again, just in my stash. And even though there's Christmas trees and stuff, I'm going with florals. We're going with pops of bright color because why not? And why not use your stash? That's always a huge success in my book. Reaching for your stash is always something that should be celebrated. So we're going to go for it. I'm trying to get it organized to where everything is dispersed enough. When you're using things from different collections, you want them to have enough variety to where it looks like it was purposeful. You don't want to use 8 pieces from one collection and then 1 piece from the other collection. You want it to kind of be dispersed throughout this page so that it makes more sense to your eye together. I hope that makes sense. If you just want it to be spread out, evenly distributed. So I will get all those down on the page. Then I will add my journaling. I'll add a few little thicker phrases because I cannot help myself. When I have word stickers and phrase stickers, I will always use them. So they're sitting right there, so I can't not use them. And so I'm going to add those in once I get all of these brightly colored pieces down, add a few of those, add the journaling, and then I've done 2 more weeks in my memory planner spread. We're starting to get caught up. It's going to get close for the end of the year. I'm excited to wrap this up, and then maybe I'll be able to do a full flip through of my memory planner. That would certainly be cool. All right, thank you so much for joining me today. I will link the supplies that I'm using down below so you can check that out. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to leave me a comment down below. I would love to hear from you. I want to give a huge shout out to all of my Patreon members. Thank you guys so much for all of your support each month. It really means a lot and it helps me continue to create content over here on YouTube and of course all the bonus content that there is over on Patreon. All right, I hope that you all have a fabulous day. And as always, keep it creative.